Hello and welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. I wanted to go over the objectives for this week, the week of August 20th. First, we're going to finish the metric system. Second, we're going to go over some data collection and analysis. Third, we're going to review experimental design and the scientific method. And we'll probably finish the week with a test. So just have a heads up. We're probably going to test on or around Friday. There we go. Alright, let's start the metric system review. Many of you know this, some of you need a little help with it, so this is kind of for everybody. What we're looking at now are the metric prefixes. So kilo, hecta, deca, deci, centi, and milli are the prefixes that when you add it to the base unit, here we go, it changes the meaning of the base unit. We'll talk about the base units in a minute. Okay, and if you remember correctly, kilo means, if we're using scientific notation, it means 10 to the third. Oops. I need to pick a thinner pen. Whee! There we go. 10 to the third. Hecta is 10 to the second. Deca is 10 to the first, which just means 10. Deci, once we pass the base unit, remember they become negative numbers. 10 to the negative 1. Centi is 10 to the negative 2. And milli is 10 to the negative 3. Another way to write these is, remember that each step you're either multiplying or dividing by 10. So let's just change them a little bit. So kilo, if it's 10 to the third, that's the same as multiplying by 10 3 times, and that's 1,000. Hecta is multiplying by 10 2 times, so it's 100. Deca is just 10. Deci is 0.1 or 1/10. Centi is 0.01 or 1/100th. And milli is 0.001 or 1,000th. Here's an expanded view of the metric system. And if you look at the top, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about it this way, but why not? Okay. So we have all the way up to septillionth, or down to septillionth. You can tell that's a really small number. That's 10 to the negative 24. Up to septillion, which is a 1 with 24 zeros after it. We're not going to be concerned with those, luckily enough. We only want to focus on the middle ones. So these, right? So just those, milli, centi, deci, deca, hecta, kilo. Alright, now I want to work on metric prefixes. I haven't given you watts yet, but most of you know it's a measure of power, or electricity. And if you add a K in front of it, it becomes kilowatts, or 1,000 watts. Okay? Now, we're just going to move this out of the way. I'll leave it up there so you can think about it. And now, let's go ahead and make a chart. We're going to put prefix over here, and base over here. Now let's go ahead and, as long as we're thinking about it, start with kilogram. Oops, I made it uppercase. We want it to be lowercase, because that's the way it's written. And let's go with meter. So what does that mean? It means 1,000 meters, right? If we were to change this to grams, and it's kilograms, right? 1,000 grams. Okay. So that gives you an idea of how the prefix base thing works. Let's go ahead and let's just write another one. ML. What does it stand for? That's right. It's milligrams, not, excuse me, milliliters. Okay. And which means 1,000th of a liter. So it's 0.001 liters. Why is it a capital L instead of a lowercase l? Because capital L looks a lot like the number 1. So when working with prefixes, it helps to remember that the prefix, just like in English, modifies the base and tells you what the base means. It gives you an additional information about the base unit. And the base units that we're working with for length are, of course, meter, liter, and gram. And then when you add the prefix to it, it changes it to, say, kilometers, kiloliters, or kilograms. Just a quick review of the metric staircase. Remember, if we go up the staircase, then you move your decimal point to the left, which also means you're dividing by 100. And if you're going down the staircase, then you move the decimal point to the right. Okay? And you're multiplying by 100. I mean by 10. Now this thing also gives you, it's kind of neat, it gives you a good way, and many of you know it already, a good way to remember the prefixes. King Henry died, and some people say by for base unit. This one says usually for unit drinking chocolate milk. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Oh, here we go. Whee! Woo! Hold on, I wanted to grow this thing. Come here. I can grow that thing. Whee! Oh well. There she is. I thought you needed to see that. King Henry, didn't he die while drinking chocolate milk? So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And just a couple of graphics to help you remember. If you're going up the staircase, you're dividing by 10, and if you're going down the staircase, you're multiplying by 10. I just wanted to review making conversions in the metric system. Some of you, I know, are having a little trouble with that, but it's all about bouncing the decimal point. And again, if you go down, you move the decimal point to the right. Okay? And so we're going to practice that. Just going down and moving the decimal point to the right. Okay. So let's start with, we're going to start with the base unit, gram, and add the prefix kilo to it. So kilogram, right? And let's go with 1 kilogram. And we'll pick orange. Okay. And we're going to go down 2 grams. So it's 1, 2, 3 steps. There's our decimal point. We bounced it down 3 steps. And so 1, 2, 3. It's now over here. Add the zeros in the empty spots, and then don't forget your placeholder. So our new number is 1,000 grams. So we converted 1 kilogram into 1,000 grams. Okay, let's practice again. This time we'll go up the steps, and let's use the base unit liter, and let's start from centi. You don't hear a lot about centiliters, but what the heck, we'll just do centiliters. So we're going to add the prefix centi to the base unit liter. And let's say we have 10, oops, it's kind of an ugly 10, oops. So let's try it again. I'm trying to write neatly. So 10 centiliters. Okay, so we're going to start down here, right? So here's our decimal point, and let's move it up to decaliters. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to the right, to the left with our decimal point now because we're going up the ladder. So go back to green, and we're going to move this decimal point 1, 2, 3 spaces, and you just plug a 0 into the empty spot, and we need our placeholder, so it becomes 0.01 centiliters. Okay. Well, that's it for now. That's just a review of the metric system and conversions. I hope it helps. And once you finish that, then we'll help you do some data analysis. So we'll start collecting data. Okay, thanks.